Episode 9 by Disney and Lucasfilm is being looked at as a course correction technique within the Star Wars sequel trilogy by writer and director J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing I will say about the Star Wars franchise is that it really does depend on how successful Episode 9 is really going to be, both of course with the box office and how well it sits with the Star Wars community. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc., as well as some of the reactions from the cast and crew for this movie. You guys may recall just a couple of weeks ago about this film actually having a lot of Legends material in it, and that some of the crew members even enjoyed this movie more than The Last Jedi. Now, additionally, it's described that parts of the film have even darker tones than parts of Revenge of the Sith. Many original concepts from Ralph McQuarrie for the original trilogy were implemented into the film, where the cast and crew were blown away by the designs of the sets. It turns out that the dialogue of the characters is the richest out of the entire sequel trilogy, since JJ allowed improvised dialogue for the cast. The dialogue from both Kylo Ren and Rey, created by Ridley and Driver, is described to be on the level of Han and Leia's from The Empire Strikes Back. Additionally, the stunt men and women have implied that the choreography of the lightsaber fights in the film are very similar to the prequels, and that fans who enjoy the trilogy will connect with this film. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this that are really piquing my interest for this movie, and exactly what we can expect to see in Episode 9. So first things first, there are going to be darker tones than parts of Revenge of the Sith implemented into Episode 9. Now, this is where things begin to get very interesting indeed. Now, we do know that this movie is actually said to be darker than The Last Jedi in certain parts of the film. However, there's an actual sequence in Episode 9, or a couple of sequences, in which it will be darker than Revenge of the Sith. Now, that's the thing that really mind-boggles me, right? I'm trying to think to myself real hard on exactly how they could pull that off, where parts of Episode 9 will be darker, far darker than moments in Revenge of the Sith. Now, if you look at Revenge of the Sith, there are parts that are very dark and gruesome, like when Anakin Skywalker is burning on Mustafar, and of course when Anakin Skywalker is getting the surgery and getting the suit on as Darth Vader. You know, moments like that are very dark. You know, even Anakin Skywalker killing Mace, and Mace electrocuting Emperor Palpatine on Coruscant. You see all these dark tones in that movie. Now, apparently, Episode 9 is going to have darker elements than Revenge of the Sith in this story, you know, at some points here and there. Now, the next thing is that many different concepts of Ralph McQuarrie will be implemented into Episode 9. So I don't know if you guys know Ralph McQuarrie. You know, he does a lot of great artwork for the original trilogy. Parts of it, by the way, were implemented into Rogue One, a Star Wars story, Darth Vader's castle being one of the big ones, one of the big inspirations for sure. And, you know, we do know that the original Palpatine throne room was going to have a lot of lava surrounding his actual throne. So we could see elements like that from Ralph McQuarrie being implemented into the movie. And what's really intriguing to me is that the cast and crew were blown away by the designs of the sets that are deeply inspired from Ralph McQuarrie himself. Now, this is where things begin to get a little bit more intriguing and connects to what we heard, I believe it was back in November of 2018, is that the dialogue from the characters in this movie is actually considered to be the richest of the sequel trilogy. It's actually said to be the richest of this trilogy. And that's one reason, and there's one reason why, is because J.J. Abrams allowed the cast to actually improvise their dialogue in Episode 9, which I honestly think is great, because if you think about it this way, we did see, you know, improvised dialogue in the original trilogy. And what really catches my eye here is, of course, how dialogue from Kylo Ren and Rey is described as being pretty much on the same exact level of the improvised dialogue between both Han and Leia, and just the dialogue from Han and Leia in The Empire Strikes Back. And of course, the most exciting point of all is that the stuntmen and women have implied that the choreography of the lightsaber fights are very similar to the prequels, and that fans who enjoy that trilogy will connect with this film. So, lightsaber fights in Episode 9, we know that that's going to be a big thing in this movie, something that was completely absent from The Last Jedi that should have been in that film. So, the same exact type of choreography, the same choreography style from the prequels will be thrown into Episode 9. So, expect to see a lot of fast-paced fights, a lot of backflips and front flips, all those different pieces of choreography that we see in Episodes 1, 2, and 3 are going to be a part of Episode 9, and I couldn't be more excited and fascinated about this movie. I'm very mystified, if you will. You know, I'm very much interested to see exactly what J.J. Abrams is going to do to really make this movie the best of the sequel trilogy, and it seems like it really is going to be that. Is that it's going to be the best of this current trilogy. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.